So you just bought your new Tesla and you can't wait to get to a supercharger to get that bad boy juiced up. But before you do that, you need to understand that not all superchargers are the same. And in this video, I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know about supercharging your new Tesla and some helpful tips so that your first time charging, you look like a pro who knows what they're doing. What are superchargers? Basically, they are DC fast chargers capable of delivering up to 250 kilowatts. Now, in comparison, my level 2 home charging system gets me about 7 kilowatts, so not as fast. Globally, there are 4 Tesla Supercharge versions right now. There's V1, V2, V3, and V4. V1 capable of speeds up to 72 kilowatt, V2 capable of up to 150 kilowatts, V3, which is the big boy, capable of 250 kilowatts. V4 was designed to deliver up to 324 kilowatts, but the few versions that have been released out there in the world are limited to 250 kilowatts. And honestly, speeds up to 324 kilowatts don't matter at this point because all of Tesla's production cars right now are limited to 250 kilowatts of charging speed anyway. Now, V1 and V2 are on a shared circuit, which drastically impacts your charge time and not many people know about. V3 is on a dedicated circuit, which is awesome because it is really super fast charging time. Now, to give you an example of how a shared circuit can impact your charging time, let's say you go to a supercharger and there are 2 stalls labeled 1A and 1B. Currently, there's a car charging at 1A, receiving a full 150 kilowatts of power. You pull your vehicle into 1B and begin charging your vehicle. You look on the screen and you see that you're only getting 75 kilowatts. What's going on here? This is a 150 kilowatt charging station. Why am I not getting full juice? Well, you're on a shared circuit. So now not only are you getting a reduced charging rate, but you're also probably getting salty looks from the guy next door because you just increased his charging time. You want to look for a V3, which is a dedicated single stall charger that supports up to 250 kilowatts. That is going to be the big boy. That's going to be the fastest rate of charge that you can get. Also, it's a single circuit. So if they're both V3 chargers, you don't have to worry about splitting the power between the 2 cars or those salty looks. There's an easy way to tell if it's going to be on a shared circuit or not. At the base of the supercharger, you will see a number and a letter. For an example, on a version 2, you might see 1A and 1B. That normally indicates it's a shared circuit and you're going to have reduced power if 2 vehicles are on that one charger. Now, on the other hand, if you go to a series of superchargers and you see 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, those indicate separate and distinct charging circuits. Those are going to be your V3, 250 kilowatt workhorses that are going to charge your vehicle lickety split. Those are also the chargers that are going to give you that 200 miles worth of range in the 15 minutes. So that's why it's important to know which one you're going to. Now, those superchargers offer max output. So that's 250 kilowatts max. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to get all the time. If that were the case, it would probably charge a lot faster than just 15 or 20 minutes. But because of the nature of charging lithium-ion batteries, there are some protective measures that Tesla's installed to make sure that there's no issues with the battery. If you arrive on a lower state of charge, you're going to charge faster until you hit about 80%. At that point, your charge rate will drop. I want you to think about it like this. Say you're getting a glass of water from a pitcher. You're going to begin pouring quickly, and a lot of water is going to be going into the cup. Then as you near the top of the cup, you're actually going to back off on the amount of water that you're pouring out of the pitcher to slow down the flow. That way you don't spill all that water out of the top of the cup. The same principle applies to the supercharger. It's going to slow down the rate of charge as the battery or cup begins to fill up. Now, there are over 50,000 superchargers worldwide, about 17,000 in North America alone, which is currently the largest market for superchargers. These are individual stalls, not charging locations, so keep that in mind. And it's really easy to navigate to these superchargers. You can do it through your onboard navigation on the touchscreen in your vehicle, or you can even do it through your app and send the directions to your vehicle. Super cool, super convenient. The benefit of navigating to a supercharger, okay, not just to the address where the superchargers are at, you want to navigate directly to the supercharger, is that it'll precondition the battery, and this preconditioning warms up the battery so that it's prepared to take the juice from the supercharger. It also lessens your charging time, which gets you in and out of the stall even faster. Now, I recently did a video about a road trip that my wife and I took in our brand new Tesla Model Y long range. I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below. We used the onboard navigation in the car to design our route and navigated to superchargers. Told us exactly how long we were going to have to be at the charger, how much juice we needed to get to the next charging station. It just takes care of everything for you. It makes it super simple. Now, the information offered on the onboard app is very helpful. If you click on the pin of the supercharger, it'll tell you a lot, like how much the superchargers cost, how many stalls are available, what's the power output, what the busiest times are for those chargers. Even towards the bottom, it gives you pictures of what the chargers look like and the surrounding amenities. I mean, how cool is that? On our road trip, we found the supercharging network to be extremely reliable, and I do appreciate how easy it is to actually use a Tesla supercharger. It's so simple to use a supercharger. All you have to do is navigate to the supercharging station, pull into an empty spot, grab the supercharging wand, push the button to open the charging port, insert the charger, and that's it. There's no forms of payment because it's all linked through the car. Tesla does that automatically and bills your credit card that's linked through your Tesla app because it communicates with the car. I mean, that is genius and so simple. I'm so glad I don't have to whip out cash or a credit card and use some sort of PIN machine to get this thing rolling. It's fast, it's convenient, it's simple, it's so easy. Now you'll see that there are a variety of colors on that T underneath the charging port, and those have significance. Initially, when you open up the charging port, you're going to see a white T. That means that everything's good and the port's ready to go to begin charging. You'll insert the charging wand, you're going to see blue. That means that the car is communicating with the supercharger and setting everything up as far as payment. Then you'll see a flashing green T, which means that the car is actively charging. Once you see a solid green T, that means that the car has charged to the set charge limit. If you see an orange T, that means that the wand is not fully inserted and will need to be removed and then reinserted correctly. If you see a red T, there's some sort of malfunction and you should probably contact Tesla Roadside Assistance for some help. Now let's say you want to go for a bite to eat while you're charging. All of the information for your charging session is going to be listed on your Tesla app. It'll give you notifications to tell you when you're close to ending your charging session or reaching your charging set limit. Now, there's a big thing you need to be concerned about with this, and this is idle fees. Now basically you incur idle fees once your vehicle has reached the charging limit and is still connected to the Tesla supercharger. They're roughly $1 a minute, so you want to avoid those if you can. So some helpful tips to help you avoid any issues at the supercharger. Number one is going to be dealing with those idle fees. If you have your vehicle set to a charging limit, let's say 80%, maybe you're out grabbing a bite to eat while your vehicle is charging, then all you need to do if you're running up towards that limit and you're not going to make it back in time to unplug the vehicle from the supercharger is just simply go into your app and bump up your charging limit by about 10%. That'll buy you some extra time to finish up your meal and get back to your car so you don't incur those $ per minute idle fees and start racking up huge costs that are unnecessary. The next tip I have for you is to avoid parking directly next to another charging Tesla. In many cases, if this is a shared circuit, you're going to lose power and increase charging time, which is not something that either one of you want to do. Superchargers are meant to be an in and out type of setup. It's about convenience. It's about getting in and getting out. That's what superchargers are there for. Number 3 on the list deals with these short supercharging cables. Okay, these superchargers do not have long charging cables for a reason. They want to make sure they're getting as much energy through that cable as possible. The longer the cable, the more resistance, the less energy will actually enter into the car. So they're very short. And because of that, you need this one tip to help you so that you don't have issues with not being able to reach the charging cable. When you're backing up and you're looking at your backup camera, basically what you want to do is have the bottom of the backup camera screen go just over the curb stop to where you just can't see the curb stop anymore in the bottom of your screen, and that's going to get you close enough every single time to make sure that that charging cable will reach the charging port with no issues. Now, number 4 is going to be to navigate to the supercharger, not the address of the supercharger. The reason being is because the car will identify that you're navigating to a supercharger and precondition the battery, which means faster supercharging times, which also means less stress on your battery for the long term. That is exactly what you want to do. If you navigate to the address of the superchargers on your onboard navigation, then it's not going to precondition the battery. You're going to have more time supercharging, and there's going to be excess stress on your battery that could have been easily avoided. Now, number 5 has to deal with the universal sign that the supercharger is broken or down and not working correctly. So if you pull up to a supercharger station and you see this, you need to avoid that stall. Basically, what you're going to see is the charging cable thrown directly over the top of the Tesla supercharger. It'll be laid over top of the supercharger, and that means that this charger is not working. Tesla support's going to get out there and fix it up. Don't bother pulling into this stall because you're going to have a bad experience because it won't work. That being said, Tesla is super fast about fixing the broken superchargers. Their network is extremely reliable. Tesla superchargers are a great resource for many of us Tesla owners, and the supercharging network is hands down the best DC fast charging network in the world. Hit that like and subscribe button and check this video out right here. It's our first ever road trip in our Tesla Model Y long range where we use a supercharger for the first time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.